Before you had diabetes, grocery shopping, cooking, and eating may have seemed almost automatic. Now, when you want to keep your blood glucose in your target range and protect your health, everyday decisions like what to have for dinner can be overwhelming and confusing. Healthy eating is a key tool to help keep your blood glucose in your target range and help you avoid the long-term complications of diabetes. This program will introduce you to ways you can make healthier food choices when you're grocery shopping, cooking, and eating, so you can take control of these everyday decisions. In the grocery store, with all those food choices in front of you, how do you make a healthy choice? One of the most valuable tools when trying to choose what food to buy is the Nutrition Facts food label, located on all prepackaged products. The food label has a lot of information, including serving size, calories, types of fat, carbohydrate, and fiber. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy to use and understand. Let's start with the serving size. All information on the Nutrition Facts label is based on the serving size. For example, 1 slice of wheat bread, 24 grams, 8 ounces of milk, 245 grams, half a cup of cooked rice, 45 grams, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 15 grams, or 2 taco shells, 27 grams. Compare this serving size to what you actually eat. For example, if you eat a half serving, cut all the figures in half to see how much of each nutrient you're getting. The food label shows you how many calories are in that food. If you're trying to limit your caloric intake, this information can help.
It's always advisable to read the labels, especially when you want to check the sugar count or the calorie count. So reading labels are important, especially when people recommend, why don't you try this.
When you have diabetes, you should be aware of how much carbohydrate you eat. Take a look at the total carbohydrate on the food label. When you eat too much carbohydrate, your blood glucose is likely to rise. So use the total carbohydrate information to help make a food choice that will keep your blood glucose in your target range.
Now I do wheat bread. And so the bread, or whole grain bread, things like that, and it's not that bad. It's just a little bit of change. I like it. But now I really try to stay away from white bread. I can't even remember the last time I ate white bread.
Look at the fiber content as well, because foods that contain fiber provide you with many nutritional benefits. Aim for 25 to 35 grams of fiber every day. Also look at the total fat, saturated fat, and trans fat per serving. Saturated fat and trans fat are the kinds that increase your risk of heart disease, so everyone should eat less. Choose foods with 0 trans fats to keep your heart healthy. Information on cholesterol, sodium, and protein are also included and may be helpful in controlling your blood cholesterol, blood pressure, and weight. Keep in mind that the percentages given are based on someone who needs 2,000 calories a day. Talk to your diabetes care team about how many calories you should eat each day. Now let's see how we can use labels to make healthier choices. Here we have whole milk and 1% milk. Which one would you choose? Take a look at the food label for each. Comparing calories, total carbohydrate, and total fat, we find that 1% milk is lower in every category. It is the healthier choice. Another popular dairy product is ice cream. Compare regular ice cream to a real fruit smoothie made with yogurt. The smoothie has less calories, total carbohydrate, and fat, not to mention the benefit of real fruit. Some fruit choices are healthier than others. Here are peaches packed in syrup versus peaches packed in juice. Notice the peaches packed in juice are lower in total carbohydrate and calories. In fact, fresh foods are usually healthier choices because they have less fat and sugar than packaged fruits or vegetables. So choose fresh foods that are in season so they aren't too expensive. If buying fresh vegetables takes too big a bite out of your food budget, opt for frozen fruits and vegetables. Most have the same nutrients and will keep longer. But make sure the fruit isn't packed with a lot of sugar to add sweetness, or the vegetables aren't covered in a cheese or cream sauce. When you don't have the food label handy, or are preparing foods without a label, try to select foods that are lower in fat. For example, when choosing a meat product, keep in mind that meat can be very lean, medium fat, or high fat. Compare the nutritional values of a 3-ounce hamburger and 3 ounces of lean ground turkey. As you can see, choosing lean or medium lean most times will reduce the amount of fat you eat. Remember to look at the size of your fresh choices. A small pear has less total carbohydrate than a large pear, so it won't raise your blood glucose as much. Many mobile apps and websites can also be helpful when making healthy choices in the grocery store. For example, MyFitnessPal or Calorie King can be used to find the nutritional values of many of the foods you're shopping for.
It's very important to bring the nutritious food that you enjoy eating home, such as your fruits and raisins and just some healthy things, and try to avoid a lot of the fattening foods like potato chips and pretzels and things like that.
In the grocery store, you can make healthy food choices. Do you want to read the food label? Choose fresh foods instead of packaged ones. Choose very lean or lean meats. Or make another change that fits your lifestyle. Once you begin putting your food skills to work, you'll find there are many healthy choices available for you. You'll be able to fill your cart with delicious and healthy foods. Before your next trip to the grocery store, make a list of the foods you need. When you get there, read the food labels for different brands and choose the one that is healthy for you. While you were in the grocery store, you succeeded in making healthy food choices. Now, when you're at home, you want to prepare those foods in a way that keeps them healthy. Don't undo all the good you just did.
I don't fry food, so that's something I never got into. I may have a scrambled egg, but I don't get into fried food. So everything I do is baked, broiled, or boiled.
To use the better oils, and which is something that I've learned, know what they are.
When you're cooking, prepare your meat by removing any excess fat before you cook it, including the skin on chicken. If you normally fry food, try broiling, steaming, grilling, or baking your foods instead. This cuts down on fat, which is good for your diabetes and weight management.
The beans I cook, I put them in water and then I let them boil for about an hour until they get softer. And then just add a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of salt, and eat them like that instead of frying them.
When preparing foods at home, you also have control over what condiments or seasonings you use on your foods. Avoid or at least limit high-fat toppings like mayonnaise, butter, sour cream, cheese, and some salad dressings. A little goes a long way. For example, adding 2 ounces of ranch dressing to your salad can add 300 calories. That's the same as adding a regular cheeseburger or a 6-inch ham sandwich. Instead, why not try lower-fat versions of these dressings? Or try something new. Mustard, balsamic vinegar, or herbs and spices like garlic, oregano, and basil can add taste to your foods without the fat and sodium.
I'll have like whole wheat spaghetti, and I'll have the sauce. I get a lot of no sodium sauces and mix it in and then season it myself. And I put a lot of vegetables in it too to give it a lot more bulk.
I'll take a chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, put it in the broiler, right? And I wrap it in aluminum foil, and I add different things to it. Sometimes I might add a wine vinegar to it, right? And then put it in there, and I can broil it and give it a crust to it, and yet the inside is tender.
To get more monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats into your diet, those are the healthy kinds of fats, add nuts or seeds to the foods you prepare. This gives you the crunch you crave, adds flavor, and is good for your heart. But watch your portions. Too much will add extra calories to your meals. If your busy schedule makes it hard to cook meals every day, try preparing healthy meals ahead of time and freeze them for easy reheating later. You will be less likely to reach for unhealthy processed foods or the takeout menu if a healthy meal is on hand.
I get up in the mornings, I feed my son, and while he's eating, I make some of my lunches ahead of time, so I don't have to do it every morning, but then I can just throw stuff in my lunchbox. So a lot of it is planning ahead and just getting in type of a routine, and it's become second nature.
Try the same for snacks. Cut up fresh vegetables or fruit ahead of time so they are easily within reach. Talk to your diabetes care team about more tricks while preparing your meals at home. And the next time you cook, think about healthy ways to prepare your food. You can cut down on the fat by cutting it off first. Bake, broil, grill, or steam. Take control of your condiments. Prepare meals and snacks ahead of time. Freeze portions of meals. Or make another change that fits into your cooking methods. What is your favorite meal to prepare at home? What changes can you make to the way you prepare this meal to make it a healthier choice for you? You've prepared your meal. Now comes the fun part, eating it. But here you can also use some strategies to manage your diabetes. Choose to control your portion sizes.
I try to add more of the good stuff, which is a salad, than the heavy stuff, which is rice. So, salad, I could eat a lot. Cucumbers, I like to eat cucumbers a lot too. And then just small portions of the rice, or maybe one tortilla.
I have a steak once in a while, but I make sure it's the size of my palm and not too thick. And you can get a baked potato. It isn't going to hurt you, especially if you don't eat the whole thing.
One way to control your portion sizes is to measure your foods after they are cooked. This way, you have a good idea of how many carbohydrates, fat, and calories are in your meals. When you first start trying to control your portion sizes, you may want to use a scale or measuring cups to help you get the recommended portion. Or use dishes and glasses that you know the size of. Measuring your foods will also help you to eyeball a healthy serving size when you don't have your measuring tools handy. Then everyday items can become your tools. For example, a serving size of ice cream, or even better, a fat-free frozen yogurt, is about the size of a tennis ball. A serving size of cheese is the size of 4 dice. And a baked potato is the size of a computer mouse. You can also use your hand to measure your foods and control your portions. A serving of vegetables is the size of your fist. Starches and fruits are half a fist, or what could fit in your cupped hand. A serving of meat is the size of the palm of your hand. And a serving of peanut butter is the size of the tip of your thumb. Once you get the hang of measuring your foods, no matter what you choose to use, you'll be able to make healthy food decisions and control your portion sizes. If having second helpings is tempting you, try making your plate at the stove or counter. This way you won't be tempted to go back for extra servings. Do you sometimes feel deprived because your portion sizes look too small? Try using lunch or salad plates for your meal rather than large dinner plates. Use meal times only for eating. Sit at the table and not in front of the TV. And slow down. Take the time to really taste and enjoy your foods. You'll find yourself feeling much more satisfied. Do you get home from a long day at work, park yourself on the sofa, and snack while you watch TV? It's a pretty typical evening habit for most people. But it is difficult to control the portion of your snack if you do this. That bag becomes bottomless, and you might find it hard to stop. Studies have shown that you eat more if you're doing something else, like watching TV while you eat. How can you take control of the situation? Instead of eating from the big bag, why not try putting a set amount of your snack in a smaller bag or bowl ahead of time? When the bowl is finished, so are you. Or snack on the bags of cut-up fruit or veggies you made earlier. You may not need to snack at all when watching TV. You might just be doing it because you're bored. Keep your hands busy. Do a puzzle, knit, or do a crossword during commercial breaks. You'll be too busy to take the time to get up and head to the fridge. Better yet, get up and go for a walk. Get some physical activity instead of sitting in front of the TV. That will cut down on the amount you snack and increase your activity, helping keep your blood glucose in a healthy range. Your diabetes care team will have more tips for keeping your portion sizes in control. Meet with them to go over your strategies to make a change in the size of portions you eat. You can measure your foods, use smaller plates, eat at the table, give food your full attention, or choose to reduce your portions in another way, one step at a time. How many meals a week do you prepare at home? How many calories can you save by choosing healthy portion sizes? When you have diabetes, chores you used to do automatically, like grocery shopping and cooking, may now seem overwhelming. But the choices you make are important for your blood glucose control and your long-term health.
What would be the better choice? This one.
You are not alone in making these changes. Talk with your diabetes care team about learning more healthy eating skills. Ask them about other nutrition tools that can help you